This video is brought to you by Miniature Market. Thousands of board games, discounted prices, miniaturemarket.com.
Hello my friends, it's the Game Boy Geek here. Next week is the big Origins Game Fair between June 13th and 17th. I will be going there. But before that, I'm going to have 3 different top 10 videos because there's tons of games that are going to be there. Some are going to be for sale, some of them are going to be for demo, and some that I've already played that won't fit on any of those other lists that I really want you to know about that are also releasing there or being demoed there. So this first list is going to be my top 10 most anticipated releases. Now to make this list, it had to have been listed as for sale. Board Game Geek puts a great Origins Fair list together, allows you to see which ones are just for demo, which ones are for sale. So these are 10 games that I'm interested in that are actually going to be for sale, so you can actually go in there, walk in there, and purchase one. Now usually when games are releasing at Origins, not too many typically release, but the ones that do typically are in small quantities. A lot of times they're flown in and things like that. So if any of these are interesting to you, you're going to want to track down their booth on the Origins Game Fair website. Without further ado, let's get started.
Number 10.
Alright, number 10 is Before the Earth Explodes by Green Couch Games. This is a 2-player game that takes 20 minutes to play, and it's the 2 players face off with the use of simultaneous action, clever tactics, and intuition. Now you're battling over 4 different areas, like the top of a technology track, or colonizing 7 new planets, or destroying the opposition's faction, or meeting one of the ship's victory conditions. Now it does seem like there is some guessing as to what the other player might be doing based upon the state of the game, and then bluffing, double bluffing, those head fakes. I tend to like those games where you mess with your opponent's heads, trying to make them think you're going one way and then going another one. So I'm looking forward to try this small, quick game out.
Number 9.
Number 9 is Memoir by Stronghold Games. Now this one hit my radar because it was one of the 5 recommended games for the Spiel des Jahres, of course known as the German Family Game of the Year. Now they nominate 3 games and they always recommend 5 others, and this is one of the 5 because those tend to be strong games. It immediately was one that I want to check out based upon that merit. Now it's 2 to 4 players, takes 10 to 20 minutes to play. Now it's a memory game, hence the name Memoir, and you're flipping cards connected to the recently revealed location, and you're trying to reveal a connection to that card, and if not, then you're out of the round. Now it seems like a very light, simple family game, but it does have an advanced variant which triggers special abilities on the cards, so we'll see if that ramps up the game enough for our gamer side of things, and that's Memoir.
Number 8.
Number 8 is Pikoko from Brain Games. Now this is a trick-taking game for 3 to 5 players, takes 30 minutes to play. Now I love trick-taking games that stay true to the genre but have a twist. This one definitely has a twist. In fact, it has 2 twists. First, each round players receive a hand of cards, but they don't get to see their own cards. Only the cards held by other players. And the second twist, each player plays cards of the player to their left, not their own cards. Now that sounds so different, and of course you immediately think Hanabi when you think you can't see your own cards, but you can see everyone else's, and I tend to like that mechanisms in different types of games. So since I love those those trick-taking games, I'm definitely going to check this one out because it looks fresh and interesting, and even like the birds, sort of those birds' feathers and stuff sticking up from the table gives it a cool little look, so I really want to take a look at this one.
Number 7.
Now number 7 is Orc Limbic. Now this is another one from Brain Games. It's for 2 to 5 players, and you draft a team of orcs, elves, halflings, and other fantasy Olympians, each with their own strengths and weaknesses, and then you enter these Olympians into a series of 7 events. You're trying to claim a medal, and a player's Olympians must have the highest or second highest total in that event in order to get some scoring. Now the player who claims the most valuable collection around the medals of the 7 events wins. Now it reminds me of sort of an older Z-Man games called Magical Athlete, where you're drafting athletes and you're trying to win a competition, and they had these weird powers that change the game. Now I don't think this one actually has any powers, but I do love sort of the theme and the drafting. It sounds like you have to decide which event you really want to go for and win, and which ones you want to maybe possibly win but not go too hard for. And I wanted to have sort of that feeling that Biblios had from Yellow, which is, hey, I want to win this one, I want to make sure I get enough things there, but at the same time I don't want to just go all in on that, because then I won't be able to do anything else. But at the same time, I want to do just enough in a few things to win those, and then maybe go heavily on something else that's being really fought for. So we'll see how this one stands out, but it's Orc Limbics.
Number 6.
Number 6, another trick-taking game. It's called Spy Tricks from WizKids. And so I did mention, I love trick-taking games. So this one is for 3 to 4 players, and players will act as spies from various countries. Now you'll be trying to guess the contents of secret documents. You'll use your hands as well as your observance of all the other players and what they're doing and their actions to deduce what that secret document is. Now there's even an element of gambling, as you'll bet on the content of that secret document. Now each will bet on that content locks other players out from guessing that same thing. So it seems interesting. I love deduction and betting, so I'm really interested in this one because it does seem to have quite an interesting twist. This was released a couple years ago, I think in 2016, with a similar name. I think it was sort of like swapped. But anyway, it wasn't in a very large distribution, so now WizKids will bring it to more people, and this looks cool to me.
Number 5.
Number 5 is Warsaw City of Ruins by North Star Games. Now this had come out in 2016 by Grana in Europe, and it was called Capital. And I had watched so many positive reviews of this drafting game, and I had actually tried to track one down when it first came out, but it was hard to find. It's a 2 to 4 player game. It ages 10 and up, and it plays within an hour. You'll be drafting, and you'll be trying to develop a district of Warsaw from the 1600s through the present day. And you're going to be trying to be creating the most bustling district while weathering the destruction of 2 different world wars. Now, you'll be building residential areas, commercial complexes, cultural facilities, parks, industrial facilities, and over 35 unique Warsaw buildings and landmarks. Now, I love drafting games. And especially ones where you build your own tableau of cities that give you different points based upon what surrounds them. I love that style of game. This one looks like they did a good change of the name and refreshing some things. And I also love seeing North Star Games continue to increase their strategy game line to their already award-winning party game lineup with the Wagers and Happy Salmon, and the list goes on. So I'm finally looking forward to getting this one to the table for myself, and that's Warsaw City of Ruins. Number 4 is Curio, The Lost Temple by WizKids. This is a real-time cooperative game for 2 to 5 players. Takes 10 to 15 minutes to play. Now it reminds me of the genre of Escape the Curse of the Temple and Magic Maze, both of which are games that I absolutely love. Now the players take on the role of archaeological team as they try to escape the Lost Temple. Now in this real-time cooperative game, you're going to be needing to communicate and collaborate to solve this unending slew of puzzles. Now I also love puzzly games, which is another reason why this one is on my list. It also sounds like it's endlessly replayable with the way that the puzzles work, even by the same player. It uses this unique module-based system where players will manipulate, sort, rotate, and search puzzle components to arrive at a distinct answer. So it has that replayability built in. It's puzzly, it's cooperative, and it's real-time. All things that I love, and so I want to check this out by WizKids.
Number 3.
Number 3 for me is Century Eastern Wonders. This is from Plan B Games, and this is sort of a sequel to the smash hit by Emerson Matsuuchi, Century Spice Road, where Spice Road was, essentially an engine building card game. This appears to be more of sort of a board game, but it keeps the simplicity, meaning there's only 2 pages of rules in this game, but it keeps that simplicity of the original. This Eastern Wonders can also be combined with Century Spice Road to create a new gaming experience, putting them back together, called Sand to Sea. So that seems interesting. You're going to be using a little bit of components from both sides to one large game as well. And I'm a huge fan of Emerson's designs. I think he is one of the great rising stars in the industry. So anything he ever comes out with or touches, I'm interested in. But you add to that the nature of this sequel, and how it can be mixed together with the original, and this is really a no-brainer for me. I've been looking forward to this one for a while, and so absolutely this one is going to be on my list, and it's pretty high up on there. This is going to be from Plan B Games, Century Eastern Wonders.
Number 2.
Number 2 for me is Visitor in Blackwood Grove. This is by Resonym. It's for 3 to 6 players, ages 8 and up, and plays in 15 to 20 minutes. Now, Visitor in Blackwood Grove, it's an asymmetric 2 versus many inductive reasoning game where one player, the visitor, makes up this secret rule, things that contain metal can determine which objects can pass through this force field. Now, the other players and agents and the kid try to figure out the rule by seeing which objects pass through the force field and which don't. They're going to be testing different theories. Now, the agents secretly test cards from their hands to learn what passes through and what doesn't. But the kid actually tries to predict which cards, basically the rule, and tries to build trust with the visitor if she's right. Now, the kid and the visitor are on a single team, and if the visitor makes a rule that's too easy, then the agents will solve it first, and they'll lose. So if the visitor makes a rule too hard, nobody will be able to solve it, and the agents will win. If the visitor makes the rule just right, well, the kid hopefully will figure it out before the agents, and both the kid and the visitor will win. Now, it sounds awesome off the bat. I love deduction games and induction games. They're sort of like the reverse of each other, but they're very similar in the way that things work in your brain. The mechanisms remind me of a game called Zendo. This was recently re-released by Looney Labs. But having this be a 2 versus many, I've never played a game that's 2 versus many, I think. And it seems to add that twist that totally has me hooked. So the theme, the way it works, induction, 2 versus many, it's clicking on all cylinders for me. It does seem like a pretty quick game though, 15 minutes. It's one of those ones that you could probably line up and play as a bunch of different teams over and over again. I hope it has that sort of replayability and feeling to it. And that's Visitor of Blackwood Grove.
Number 1.
Well, my number 1 most anticipated is Reef. This is by Next Move Games, which is a subsidiary of Plan B Games, who originally brought the Spiel des Jahres nominee Azul to the market. But now it's called Next Move Games. And they're created, basically, they're going to be making games like Azul that seem to be easy to teach, have lots of depth, and possibly abstracted, and all are just 4 letters long. Azul, Reef, they follow that nomenclature there. Now, it's also designed again by Emerson Matsuuchi, who I just spoke about a couple of games ago. Obvious why this one's up on my list. Now, it's for 2 to 4 players, ages 8 and up, and plays in 30 to 45 minutes. Now, it's an abstract game where you'll be trying to score points by putting coral on your own board in specific patterns. But the cards you draft have dual purposes. One part of the card gains you specific coral colors, and the other one scores specific patterns. So the puzzly nature of trying to figure out which way to use that card to get the most points and the quickest is right up my alley. I love puzzly games like this, trying to figure out dual purpose cards. Ooh, I need to get this one, and this one will get me the stuff to score on this one. Oh, but this one will get me that one, which scores other ones. It seems like there's going to be some great decisions here in such an easy to play game. And that is my number 1, Reef, from Next Move Games. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed this top 10 most anticipated games list for Origins 2018. Now, there's going to be 2 other videos coming up, top 10 games that have to do with Origins and the games that are going to be there. Some of the ones I've already played, I want you to go there and check out because they're amazing, and other ones that are super popular that are going to be there to try out. So subscribe to my channel if you haven't already to make sure you don't miss those, because those are going to be coming soon and before Origins hits. Well, until next time, this has been the Game Boy Geek, helping you find and enjoy the next board game you'll love.
This video was sponsored by Miniature Market's Review Corner. The Review Corner features podcasts, video, and written game reviews by gamers for gamers. Miniature Market, the online gaming superstore. Thousands of board games, discounted prices. Check them out at miniaturemarket.com.